Please welcome to the stage WBT Radio talk show host, Brett Winterble.
Oh, good afternoon, Mount Airy. It is beautiful to be here today. Came up from not just North Carolina, South Carolina, where I live across the line. You know what I'm saying? Came from California, wanted to live in a place that I knew would never go fully socialist, right? Who's in favor of socialism? Let me tell you a little story. I was reading the news on the way in this morning and this afternoon. So they want to fund this $3.5 trillion monstrosity with the carbon tax. Have you seen this? They want to do CO2. Of course, everybody thinks, you know what this means? It means they're going to tax our cars. It means they're going to tax the miles we drive. I got it figured out. It's a pay-for, like they call it in Washington, D.C. They're going to put the cap on top of the Capitol and absorb all that CO2 bloviating out of their mouths. We're going to be trillionaires in no time because all those people do is talk. That's it. Why do I love being with people like each and every one of you? First of all, I'm on the radio from 3 to 6 in the afternoon in Charlotte. I never get to see an audience, and you're way more beautiful than I even imagined you looking. It's remarkable. Now, we've heard a lot about the media today, and let me just say this. I'm ready to punch back, and I can help each and every one of us in this room do that. You want to know how we do it? We just do what we believe. Who believes that the First Amendment is the First Amendment? The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. The Third, the Fourth, the Fifth, the Sixth, the Seventh, the Eighth, the Ninth, and my personal favorite coming from California, the 10th. I love the 10th because that's your backstop against the socialists taking over. Go ask the beautiful people of Texas about what it means to stand up to the federal bullies. Go ask Henry McMaster in South Carolina, Ronnie DeSantis in Florida. Go ask the patriots what that means. People say to me, why are you so fired up? Simple. I have children. I have one in college and one on the way. I got to fight for a while just to pay it off. The training alone to unliberal them is going to take years. Luckily, I raised them right. Because they believe in all those amendments to the Constitution. Now, let me give you the difference between conservative, pro-life people and what it is that's done by the left. They'll tell you that the words written in the Constitution, with the quill and the ink and the whole thing, we've all seen it, right? In the Constitution, they'll tell you it's a living, breathing document. It's living and breathing based on the time we're in. You know, if you think a woman is a man is a woman, we define it how we want to define it. They didn't really want you to have guns. These are the same geniuses. The Harvard, the Oxford, the Yale, the fancy universities like Berkeley. They're the same people that'll tell you the Constitution is not static, but the climate should be. The climate shouldn't change. It doesn't get hot in the summer and it doesn't get cold in the winter. That's what they tell you. Why? Why do they do it? Why are they doing what they're doing on network and cable TV every single night? Why are they doing it? Why does the drug dealer sell heroin? They want you hooked on the misery. They want you hooked on the despair, the depression, all that kind of stuff, because they know you'll come back to it. You say, I can't stand MSNBC. I can't stand CNN. I got to see what those idiots are saying today. Oh, I can't believe he said it. I am out of my mind. I can't believe he just, and then you go back and you go back and you go back and you go back. What is the difference between what I do in talk radio and what the cable channels do? Anybody got an idea? You can't call Shepard Smith. You can't call Chris Cuomo. You can't call the purveyors of negativity, atheism, and despair. You can't call, well, you can call them, but it's going to go to voicemail jail. When you want to talk and spread the word and share your thoughts and be respected, you call talk radio. The magic of what President Trump did in 2016 was the magic that my old boss, Rush Limbaugh, the magic of what Donald Trump did, President Trump, and what Rush Limbaugh did was this. You were not alone. The left wants you to believe you're alone. The left wants you to believe you're crazy. The left wants you to believe you're an insurrectionist. Your opinion doesn't matter. You live in a state that's always voted this way. You're an African American. You're a black person. You're a migrant. You're a Mexican. You gotta vote this way. You gotta vote this way. But every day I get phone calls, and so do my brothers and sisters who host amazing shows around the country. Shows that are predicated on faith, liberty, opportunity. Those folks take those calls from who? From you, from us. We are the single most little d democratic institution in the country because you get to have a say. They'll never let you have a say on CNN. They'll never let you have a say on the cable channels. And if they happen to stop you in a supermarket or a mall and they ask you your opinion, how did you vote in 2020? Voted for Donald Trump. Okay, we're going to go back to the studio now to find out what happened. They don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Radio's the original social media. It's the original social media. And we're not Zuckerberg. And we're not Dorsey, and we're none of those people that make it our mission to tear down the fabric of our country. I love America, and I'm confident in what we can do in this country. And I'm confident because I know, as a pro-life conservative, that the battle has already been won. We only have to do the work. The greatest highlight and the greatest low light of my life, professionally, was working with and around Rush Limbaugh. I joined him in 1995 as a 25-year-old, kind of wiseacre kid. I was in New York. I was living in an apartment, a little tiny apartment in the Bronx, and I would commute in every single day, and I worked with him. And I worked my way up from the sales department all the way to being a screener. I was a snurdly. I was Mr. Winterble. But I was a snurdly for a long period of time and through some really challenging times. And it was incredible to get to work with him. He was charitable, he was patriotic, and let's be clear, he was the beacon of freedom for so many of us for all those years. They tried to tear him down. Remember what they used to say? Mind-numbed robots. How many mind-numbed robots are in the house today? I love the mind-numbed robots. And Rush would say, listen, all I'm doing is backing up what you already think. It's what you already know. Government's too big. The left has no answers. Communism doesn't work. The left goes crazy and calls him all kinds of names, and guess what he does? Builds the biggest radio empire in history. The highlight of my life was to work with him and to see how he does what he did. I can't tell you what he did. It was magic. It was really a gift from God, and I think he was preaching the liberty gospel and freedom and the importance of the greatness of America, because he never became a New Yorker. He was a kid from Missouri who grew up and connected with the people. The hardest thing I ever had to do professionally was announce his passing on my radio show. And it was hard. But I thought back to what Rush would want me to do. And he said, make them laugh. Make them laugh. Tell them some funny stuff. So you guys want to hear a couple funny Rush Limbaugh stories really quick here? Okay, I'm going to tell you the story of what happened when a woman named Karen, which I know Karen is an unpopular name now, but it was a woman named Karen who called into the program, and she was from Syracuse, New York, and she was mad. She was so mad, and I got excited because I'm screening the show and I'm taking the calls, and I'm thinking that Karen is going to really let Rush have it. So she gets on the phone, and she gets on with Rush. She goes, Karen in Syracuse, what's on your mind? Welcome to the program, right? And she comes on and she goes, I hate Donald Rumsfeld so much. He's a Nazi, and Dick Cheney and he's the worst. And she works herself up. You know when someone yells so much they start breaking the register at that time? I can't believe what he did. And he stopped and he was quiet. And he said, Madam, can I help you? And she was quiet. It was like she thought he was going to trick her. And she was quiet. She said, yes. Madam, do you know that Donald Rumsfeld and Vice President Cheney have no idea who you are? So you yelling at them, even on my radio show, the most listened to radio show in the history of broadcasting, is not going to help you. Why do you feel like this? And she said, I can't do it. I hate them so much. And Rush said, don't channel it that way. You're burning up all this energy. All this energy is being burned up for somebody that has no idea who you are. And isn't it curious that the present administration in Washington has so much hatred and energy burned up against us, and we're the best people in the country. We're the best people in the world. Why? We're Christians. We're believers. We bring migrants into our families. We bring people into our families. We don't check a box based on identity. They want us to be ogres, maniacs, haters. That's the Taliban where we left everybody behind with. That's not us. You see, Biden and Harris have misplaced rage issues. They're blaming us. They're blaming us and not the true actors of evil. That's what it is. That's what it is. What it comes down to is understanding that all of these attacks that we suffer are the product of insecurity. Insecurity. The secure man stands in front of the press for 4 hours and answers questions. I remember a president that used to do that. The insecure man or woman takes no questions and goes and hides. Can I give you my impersonation of President Biden? It's just questions. It's just questions. I got to share something with you. I've been to the border. I've been to the border. The president hasn't been to the border. I've been to the border. I grew up in El Paso, Texas, right across from Juarez. It was the place I was never allowed to go as a teenager. My parents made that abundantly clear early on. The border is not secure. I have friends in Mexico. I talk to people. It's not secure. Only an insecure administration would tell you the border is secure. Everything is fine. Ask Ali Mayorkas. We understand what they're offering up. We can beat them. We can defeat them. All we need is for it to become 2022 like tomorrow afternoon, and then 2024 like Thursday, and we can beat them. Because we want our country back. We don't want to go back. We want our country back for our kids and their kids and people's. This is crazy what we're watching. Rush always said, liberalism is a gutless decision. Making a choice to respect the individual is the hardest decision you can make. When you embrace the notion of being an individual, acting in concert with everybody else to make the country better, you've got something special. When you take somebody's property and give it to somebody else, that's not special, that's tyranny. They can take your property, They can take your guns. They can take your church. They can take your house. But they cannot take the Spirit in here. They cannot take your salvation, and they know that. They know that. I'm going to give you one last Rush story here in a second, but I want to give you all a quote that I think is worth taking with you, okay? This is a great quote, and it's one that we ought to all remember. This is St. Augustine of Hippo. It was pride that changed the angels into devils. It is humility that makes men as angels. We have to be humble. We are humble. We're humble in understanding that all of this is in our Lord and Savior's hands. It's in his hands. And what we have to do is the single solitary thing that we can do. You guys really want to make them go tilt? We have to pray for all of them, to turn their hearts away from what they're doing. It has two benefits. It's good for us. It's good for us. And you know the other benefit it's got? The other benefit is, can you believe Nancy Pelosi's calling me right now? Madam Speaker, I'll call you later. It's good for us to pray for them to turn their hearts. And one day, when we're back in power, we're going to tell them we did it, and they're going to go even more crazy. They are the Karen from Syracuse. They're angry at ghosts. They're angry at people who are doing nothing to her. That's what it is. Okay, now, a final story. The greatest bit I ever saw Rush Limbaugh pull off, and I saw it in person, the Deedle button. The Deedle button. Rush was doing his show, and he took a phone call. We had rigged up inside the studio what was called a Deedle button. The Deedle button allowed Rush to punch a button down in the studio in Florida, and over the airwaves, you would hear, deedle. Okay, it was a Deedle button. It was to be used if somebody said something they shouldn't say on the radio. A lovely woman called into the program, and she was talking to Rush about how much she loved the program and loved what he was saying and loved what he was doing. And she said, I just have to tell you something. The show you do every day really makes me, and he hit the Deedle. Deedle. He goes, Madam, he was playing around. Madam, I don't know why you would say that on the program. And she goes, no, really, your program makes me feel just deedle. He goes, I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you very much. It's nice talking to you. She calls back the next day. I answer the phone. She says, did he deedle me? She says, did he deedle me? I said, yeah. She goes, I didn't say anything. I said, it's Rush. I mean, he deedled you, She said, I want to talk to him. So I tell him, Rush, Nancy from Missouri is on. She wants to talk to you. Who's that? The Deedle lady. Oh, okay. Put her on. She gets on with Rush, and she says, Rush, I've loved you forever. You're my favorite, and I can't believe you deedled me. This is terrible. He goes, oh, how did you find out that I deedled you? Because they couldn't hear the deedle down the line. He says, how did you find out that I deedled you? She says, my bridge club told me. They said, what did you say on the Rush Limbaugh show twice today? What would you say on the radio like that? She goes, that's absolutely terrible. I can't believe. He goes, Madam, don't get upset. Listen, and she goes, I can't believe that you would say that I said, and right now I feel like, so I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. What could possibly happen? I hear her go, hold on. And she slams the phone down, but not hung up. And I hear her run back, and she turns the radio up because it's like a 35-second delay, and she hears her say, you made me feel, and she picks up and she goes, why you? I can't believe, how could you? And he goes, Madam, I'm going to go ahead and send you a subscription to the Limbaugh letter and some other wonderful things. You've been a wonderful contestant. And she's like, but I wasn't a contestant. Remember to laugh. It makes them crazy. Remember to smile. It makes them nervous. And remember to pray for them, because we just might save them yet, and we might convert them to our side. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.